What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 5 of Brackish Coast Outdoors vlog and podcast. Today we're going to be talking about species. We're doing, once a month we're doing a species profile. Today it is speckled trout, one of my favorite fish to catch ever. And before we start, the sponsor of the show this week is Bending Branches. That's our paddle that we use, one behind Matt here, the Navigator. Great paddle. So anyway, check those guys out, bendingbranches.com. All right, well, let's jump right into speckled trout. So, all right, well, first off, scientific name of speckled trout is the Cynoscion Nebulosus. I think.
You nailed it. I'm just kidding.
So I'm not sure if that pronunciation is right or not, but I've done a lot of research on this episode. So, yeah, that's what I came up with, and that's what it is. But I don't know if I'm saying it right. Common names are speckled trout, speck, sea trout, yellowmouth, and particularly large ones are typically referred to as gator trout. They're not in the trout family, despite the name. They're actually in the drum family. So their cousins are redfish, black drum, croaker, white trout, sand trout, those sort of fish, the ones that make a grunt or a drum. The males do anyway. Right. So their range is the Gulf Coast states, pretty much all the Gulf Coast states, all the way around to the northern Atlantic, up around Delaware, New Jersey, that. And they get kind of sparse the further you go up. And there's also a fish called the weak fish, kin to the trout, up in that area, or gray trout. And a lot of hybridization happens between those fish. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the life of a speckled trout. And first off, let's talk about what they eat.
Yeah. So some of the things, smaller speckled trout, they primarily feed on like shrimp, small crustaceans, things of that nature. The larger ones, they tend to feed on
finfish.
Pinfish.
Finfish.
Pinfish.
With an F. Finfish.
Especially
mullet.
Minnows.
Yeah. He can't read my writing on my notes. So
they eat fish.
They eat fish.
They eat fish.
Particularly anchovies, silver sides, pinfish, croakers, menhaden, and mullet, and sometimes marine worms in the winter.
And sometimes our baits.
we hope anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, we try to make
the plan.
That happen. Yeah. So okay, their growth and reproduction. A 16th inch is what size a larval trout is, and they pretty much start schooling immediately after they are hatched.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
That is tiny.
That's a little bitty fish.
A 16th.
And they already know at that size, let's find some more of these guys and let's school together.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. That instinct is just unreal, and that's why I love trout. A 12-inch fish is typically 1 to 2 year old, and a fish that is 16 inches is typically 2 to 3 year olds. Now that depends a lot on the environment they're in, the estuary they're in, the feed, the food that they're able to eat, that sort of thing. But that's just typical. It might not be perfect for every state, but it's pretty close for where we are. I actually got most of this information from a local research lab. So now the spawn is dependent on water temperature and usually occurs from early to late summer. Now the water temperature depends on, it usually is between 77 and 86 degrees when the spawn's happening. And the salinity, the ideal salinity is between 17 and 35 parts per thousand. Female trout reach sexual maturity at 11 to 13 inches, so in that 1 to 2 year old range. Male trout a lot earlier. So that's another thing. Larger females tend to produce way more, exponentially more eggs than smaller female trout. Thus is the reason why you should release bigger fish. They're most likely going to be females, and they will continue the population on for the next generation of anglers and the next generation of speckled trout. So release those big fish because they put a lot more fish back in the water.
Right. If you want to mount it, take a picture.
Exactly. Do a replica mount.
Right.
Go to New Wave Taxidermy, has some of the best mounts I've ever seen. That's a great one to check out.
Same
And
with
they
bass,
look
guys.
like-
Please throw the big bass back so I can
Please.
catch them later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can catch them later.
Yeah.
So he can see them later, one day. Okay. Spawning usually occurs at night, or actually always occurs at night, around a full moon. Fish usually stay in the estuary that they were spawned in. Usually they don't go more than 5 or 6 miles. Research shows that trout usually travel less than 5 miles their entire life from where they were born or tagged at. The predators of speckled trout include larger fish, dolphins, sharks, and predatory birds like ospreys,
Yeah, with the birds.
cormorants, pelicans, and actually one of the biggest predators to trout is Matt Thurl.
Ah, you caught me. Yeah, shoot, I wish, man.
Now, humans are a big predator to trout, and they do kill more than probably any other animal.
I will say this, based off of our statistics there, I'm catching 1-year-old trouts all the time. Nothing over 12 inches, right?
Yeah.
So I got to throw them by the law. I throw those back anyway. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about fishing for them. Lures, trout can pretty much be caught on any artificial lure out there. They're not picky. They're opportunistic.
Yes.
If something's in front of their face, they're usually going to eat it. But however, my favorites are the MirrOlure MR17. There's one here. And Matrix Shad, Paddletail, there's one. Or a Rapala Skitterwalk. And that pretty much covers the water columns for me.
Right. I
What's some
just
of your
recently started the hard baits, the Miradons.
Yeah.
Not really a hard bait guy, but if you can catch them at the right time, first, sunrise or catch them on a light, and they'll tear that hard bait up for sure.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, popping cork, voodoo shrimp, live shrimp.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of live bait, but the voodoo shrimp seems to work really well.
Yep.
They will hit that, man. It's kind of hard to set the hook under a popping cork, but if you can catch them on, they're on.
Exactly.
That's my personal favorite. And you never go wrong with a gulp swimming mullet.
Gulp swimming mullet catches more fish.
I mean,
than any other lure ever.
it'll
I
catch
think.
them. It'll tear them up. So.
So, and going right into live bait, one of the most popular ones around here, like you just said, was live shrimp under a popping cork. Also, another good one, and this is particularly targeting larger trout, is freelining a mullet or a croaker.
Right.
Near jetties or passes, inlets, something like that, where the larger trout are going to hang out. It's a great way to catch a bigger one. Carolina rigs are also another great rig for live bait, whether it's shrimp or mullet, croaker, or bull minnows on there. Bull minnows. I just went straight southern. Bull minnows on there.
Get old bull minnows.
Bull minnow. Using bull minnows. You're tired. You using one of them hooks with gold hooks.
That's what he really sounds like when we're not filming.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to tell you about.
Oh, you got them wrong, bull minnows.
I actually know people that talk like that, for real, like no joke.
He's related to them.
Yeah, I call him Uncle. Uncle Jimmy.
With a G.
We hadn't done an Uncle Jimmy story in a while.
We have it. We'll have one coming up, I'm sure.
Yeah, Okay, so anyway, well, after you've caught the fish, as we just talked about, all the lures you can catch them with, and you can also lie about them,
Yeah.
like my Uncle Jimmy. So, let's talk about what you're going to do afterwards. That table fare is great. It's
my favorite part.
Great, best fish to eat out there.
It is.
One of the things you're going to want to do though, when you catch it, immediately put it on ice.
Yes.
Get those get that trout cool, because it can start decomposing and it'll ruin the meat.
And down here in the
great.
south, I mean, it's very important, especially in the summer bite, the summer months. It gets extremely hot out there on the water, and then your kayak is like a conductor. It gets hot, your ice chest gets hot, everything gets hot. So definitely put them on ice if you can. We have this curse though. When we buy ice, we don't catch fish.
I don't buy ice.
And it's bitten us in the butt a couple of times. We've had to let some fish go, but that's fine.
Yeah. These days, usually if I'm keeping fish, I will keep a stringer.
Right.
And keep them on a stringer, keep them alive until I get to the truck, and then I'll get ice. But the best way if you're carrying ice is keep it in a real slushy mix. Keep a lot of water mixed in. That way that whole trout gets immersed into the cold water. If you got them above 33 degrees, they're going to start decomposing and things are bad going to be happening to that meat. So keep them cold, keep them fresh, and that's going to be the best tasting fillets.
Yes.
And they're great fried.
That's my
baked,
favorite. Anything
grilled.
fried is great.
I mean,
Personally. But trout fried.
we're going to fry Twinkies in a little while.
Hey.
No, you can get fried Twinkies at the fair down here.
Yep.
Craziest thing ever. And Oreos. Fried Oreos. Who knew?
Hey, man.
Got to be the South.
Gotta be.
So one of the most popular and one of the favorite dishes along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, where I fish typically, is trout almondine, and that's basically fried fillets with brown sauce, brown butter sauce, and sliced almonds on top. And it's great. I've had it myself. We fix it ourselves. Really good. We like to take and do green bean trout almondine and put them on a bed of long stem green
Now
beans.
that sounds good. I like some green beans.
It's a good thing I just ate, because I'd be wanting some of that right now. So now we're going to talk about the records, world records, and the top 5 state records in the whole United States.
I will tell you this, though. I'm not a record holder.
I'm not either. No, not at all. I had to research this. This is not something I know personally. Okay, world record.
World record?
Yeah. The world record came from Florida. Came from actually Fort Pierce, Florida. Yeah. Indian River Lagoon, if I'm not mistaken. And it was 17 pounds and 7 ounces.
Good Lord.
Can you imagine that?
That's about the same size as you came out as a baby.
Yeah, pretty much. So, okay, and in the top 5 states,
Right.
all around the United States, not including Florida, because that's where the world record is, Virginia has a 16-pound trout. That's number 2. I'm sorry. No, yeah, number 2 state. But number 1 on the top 5 states, excluding Florida. So we'll say number 1. Number 1, Virginia, 16 pounds.
Yeah, Florida doesn't count.
Yeah, Florida doesn't count. No, it's a whole nother.
A whole nother category.
Yeah. Number 2, Texas has 15.6 pounds. 3, Maryland, all the way up there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They made the top 5.
I've been up there. I didn't even know they had trout up there.
13-pound speckled trout. That's a monster. That's a monster. Number 4, Louisiana, 12 pounds and 10 ounces. That's a big trout. And number 5 was tied between Alabama and North Carolina with 12 pounds 4 ounces. That's still a monster trout.
That is monster. Well, we made the list, though.
Yeah, Alabama did make the list. Glad to see that. But I'm really surprised that Maryland had a trout on that top 5 list.
Yeah,
I mean, being that far north.
I think my personal best is somewhere around between 1 to 2 pounds. So, hey, we could keep.
I'm still on the quest for one over 25 inches.
Now, I've seen some big trout caught, but I've never caught one that big.
Yeah, I've caught some around 24 and close to 25, but I never weighed them. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing around 4.5, 5 pounds. That's going to be my record.
Yeah.
But yeah, still on the quest for that one above 25. So if
But
it's
hey,
over
they're out
27, I'm going to mount it.
Yes. You're going to take a picture of it.
I can take a picture of it and get a
Roll
replica.
it back and grow a bigger one.
Exactly.
Catch it the next
Because that's a female trout. Well, anyway, if you want to see us catching some of these speckled trout, just check out some of our other videos. We got a ton of videos catching speckled trout. I don't know, there's probably 300 to 400 fish caught on our videos that are speckled trout. So, all right, well, until next time, guys, I'm Jeff.
I'm Matt.
God bless. No, good vibes.
Sideline.
God bless.